There is no guarantee that the American constitutional project survives. Nothing lasts forever. Rome fell. Democracies have actually been relatively short-lived, most of them, in the history of the world. Democracy isn't just about voting every 2 years or 4 years. It's about discourse happening every day. The Constitution doesn't just say freedom to speak. It says freedom of speech, a system of discourse, people talking to each other, dialogue. And that's happening not just in the Twitterverse, it's happening not just in newspapers, it's happening in places like the New York Historical. New York, the state, the city have particular connections to the American constitutional project. It was in New York, basically, that it became clear that the Constitution was actually going to work. New York was the key last state to ratify the Constitution before George Washington was elected as the first president of the United States. And if New York had voted no, it's true the Constitution had enough other states, but without New York, the thing just wouldn't work. Imagine what would happen if America basically didn't have New York City and the mighty Hudson River. If it just had a bunch of states up in New England and a bunch of states south of New York, but not New York, the thing wouldn't have come together. So it all came down, in fact, to New York. And New Yorkers were talking to each other about the Constitution. There was a debate. You had newspapers on one side, you had pamphleteers on the other side going after each other. Alexander Hamilton plays a huge role in getting the thing through. So does John Jay. They're both New Yorkers. They're two of the three people who write a series of op-eds called the Federalist Papers, which are op-eds for New York City newspapers. And the third person who helps them is actually also in New York when the Constitution is ratified in New York, James Madison, because this is where the Congress, under the Articles of Confederation, is meeting. It's a total New York story, and it's all coming down to New York. It's like the last game of the World Series, the 9th inning, and it's tied up. So this is a really special place. These are words that changed the world. For the first time ever, a continent is getting to vote on how they and their posterity would be governed. One final thought about that word posterity, which also appears in the preamble. It begins by talking about we the people, but it also mentions the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. That can mean literally the biological descendants, but it can also include people like me who do not biologically descend. I can still be part of that we, the people of the United States, because later amendments made everyone born in America citizens of America. It's the first sentence of the 14th Amendment, an amendment after the Civil War, an amendment codifying Mr. Lincoln's vision of America, a new birth of freedom. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. That means everyone born in America is born an American citizen. That includes me. Thanks to the Constitution, I'm a U.S. citizen, an American citizen on the day of my birth because that we the people has grown and expanded. I'm part of that posterity equal to every other American citizen born that day. America is just famously diverse, and no place perhaps in America is more diverse than New York City, in part because it's the place where the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, the great-great-grandchildren of all the other peoples of the world come together. It's not true of most places, but it is true of this place. We've got people of all races, all religions, all skin colors, people whose families came from every part of the globe. They speak different languages at home. What do they have in common? The only thing they have in common really is the story of America. We can all be Americans, whether our families descended from the Mayflower or just got off the boat yesterday. And it's not just about history, it's about the present and the future, because if we don't remember our history, then who are we? How are we going to go forward as a society?